Hi, guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, this week I thought we'd start taking a look at all these horror movies I got, but there's just so much to go over, and I figured, how am I going to do this? Am I going to go, alphabetically? Am I going to go by, DVD, VHS, Blu ray? So, I decided to make it a little easier. We're going to go by the distributors. And what better distributor to start with than possibly the most fan favorite, in my opinion, Anchor Bay. Now, we have a ton to go through, and I'm only doing DVDs. Maybe in the future I'll do a Blu-ray, 4K, and VHS highlight, maybe. But I figured I have so many DVDs, we're going to have to do it in 3 parts. So get ready for the next couple weeks. I'm going to be showing you these films that I got, the Anchor Bay releases, what I think of the movie if I've seen it, and what I think of the actual release. So let's get started because this is going to be a long one. First off, we have the director's cut of Army of Darkness. Now this is a numbered copy, 16,890 of 40,000. I mean, I don't think that means too much, but this is the one that has the 15 minutes of additional footage plus the alternate ending. I don't think they're part of the runtime. I think they're just in the bonus features. But I do really like this release. I love the gold case. It really brings it a step up, and that artwork is pretty sweet. So I would say if you're into Army of Darkness specifically, because I know it's a different beast than Evil Dead, this one's pretty good. It's got some fun extra things that you can check out. It's got the storyboards, the commentary. It's a pretty good release. Next, we have Alice, Sweet Alice. Now, this is a very weird, strange movie that not a lot of people have seen. And it's a very misleading movie because it makes you think that this little girl has something to do with the murders. And it's actually it's actually a young Brooke Shields, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's an okay movie. Now, would I recommend buying the Anchor Bay release? I mean, it's probably on the cheaper end for Anchor Bay releases, that is. You might be able to even find this in a multi-pack, but if you're curious, I'd say it's at least worth one watch. Next, we have Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Now, this is a very meta movie that kind of takes the genre and, plays with some of the tropes, but it also engages in the tropes itself when it gets to, the last half of the movie. It does have a lot of good cameos from other horror icons. Robert Englund's in it. Obviously, they're not playing their characters, but in this movie, they treat some of the characters like they're real killers. I believe he talks about Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. So in this universe, these are real killers that he wants to emulate. So he hires a film crew to document him as he's going through the process. It does kind of end a little weakly, in my opinion. The first half is amazing. It's really fun. But it's a pretty interesting movie, and I'd say check it out if you've never seen Behind the Mask. Next, we have Bruce Campbell versus Army of Darkness, the Boomstick Edition. Now, I do like the packaging on this one. You open it up. Oh, my disc is falling out. The tray in this is not the greatest. That's the only complaint I do have. It's this really bad plastic tray. But that's how it came. But thankfully it has this little protector. There's also a little booklet in here. It says "Join the Army." So yeah, it's fun to have these nice little booklet things with it. I don't know if this one got re-released in a different case. But I'd say if there is a way to get it in a standard DVD case, go for it, because this one is kind of a pain in the ass. Um, Now, the thing that is interesting about this is it has the theatrical cut and the director's cut as two separate discs. So you have them both right there. You don't have to go to the bonus features to watch the scenes. They add them back in. So I like that. I think that's a pretty cool version. Next, we have Cheerleader Camp. I do believe I watched this once, but I honestly couldn't remember a thing about this. But it's an Anchor Bay movie, so hey, I kept it, so it must have been worth it. Maybe I'll have to give this another watch. I think there was like a cheer in there that was kind of funny. But maybe I'll have to give it another watch and see. Next, we have an 80s classic. We have Chud. I'm trying to remember what Chud... Oh, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. I haven't seen this movie in quite a while, but I do remember that I liked it quite a bit. It kind of gave me Full Moon vibes. Just the low budgetness of it, the creature effects. And that's not a bad thing. It's a pretty good movie. Now I do know Bud the Chud, the sequel, is a little more comical and weird. I don't own that one and I've never seen it, but I'd be interested to check it out. But the interesting thing about this movie is it has John Hurd, Christopher Curry, and Daniel Stern. Now, if you're thinking Daniel Stern, why does that name sound familiar? I'm pretty sure Daniel Stern is in Home Alone. I could be misremembering the name, but I'm fairly certain he's the Daniel Stern. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Stern. Let me see if it's got a picture of him on here. Oh, I found a receipt. Nope, just a little mini poster. And you get cool things like that with Anchor Bay releases. I could be wrong about that. I'm not gonna double check it right now, but yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I would recommend Chud. It's an 80s classic for a reason. Next, we have City of the Living Dead. This is the beginning film in the Gates of Hell trilogy by Lucio Fulci, followed up by The Beyond and House by the Cemetery. This one's pretty good. It's got some cool graphic scenes, and Anchor Bay was usually on top of the zombie genre as well as like the Halloween franchise and stuff, which we'll see later on. So if you wanted Fulci films, Anchor Bay had your back. Next, we have one of their later releases. This is when they changed their logo. They had this classic logo with the little sailboat, and then they changed it to it's just this boring little A. I mean, it looks like a sail. I get what they were going for. They wanted to modernize it, but you can't beat the classic logo. Now, this is a movie that was produced by Eli Roth. Started off as a short film, Clown, where a guy puts on a clown costume for his son's birthday, and it ends up like he can't take it off, and he starts becoming this ancient like demon clown. It's a crazy movie, but it is really, really fun. So if you've never seen Clown, you're doing yourself a disservice. Next, we have the remake of George Romero's The Crazies. It's been a long time since I've seen this, but I do know that this one is a lot more action-heavy. If I had to compare it, it would probably be to Dawn of the Dead's remake. That one was a little more action-y, in your face. And here we have Dario Argento's Deep Red. This is a very bizarre movie. If you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Especially the puppet. The puppet in this movie is very creepy, weird. Don't like. Would I recommend Deep Red? Well, it's Dario Argento. You can't go wrong with a classic Italian giallo. So yeah, I'd say check it out. It's a pretty good mystery movie. Mystery horror because there's a dead body on the cover. Then we have Dawn of the Dead, the theatrical cut. This is the anniversary edition. It has alternate scenes from the European cut. A Monroeville Mall commercial spot. So not a lot of bonus features, but it did come with a sweet little mini poster. I think that was kind of their little gimmick, these little hard mini posters that also have the scene selection on the back. But you gotta love that classic 70s style artwork right there. And yeah, this is just the theatrical cut. It would have been nice if they had like some of the soundtrack included or something. But they did different releases different ways. Here we have the DiviMax version, the DTS of Day of the Dead, released by Anchorman. Anchor Bay. I love the packaging on this because you can open Bub and there's Dr. Tongue. Then you can slide it out. What? Yeah, you can. No, wait, you don't slide it out. You open it. I'm dumb. But yeah, and it's got this little notebook thing in here. It's got 2-disc edition. It's a gorgeous set. It's a great movie. I don't need to convince you that Day of the Dead is worth owning. Yeah, Day of the Dead. Now, the sequel, Day of the Dead 2 Contagium, I'm not sure, but Anchor Bay preserved it, I guess, so here it is. Yep. Moving on. Then we have Dead and Breakfast. Now, I have not seen this in a long time. I remember this is actually the rental copy that I rented to watch, and then I ended up buying it. Yeah, I think it's from Blockbuster. Now, I can already tell David Carradine's in this. Gina Phillips from Jeepers Creepers. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I need to rewatch it because obviously I own it for a reason, and I love zombie movies, so I'm going to check this out. I do remember it's more of a comedy movie, so it might be a fun watch. Next, we have The Dead Next Door. This is a very bizarre one that doesn't get talked about enough. This has a pretty good amount of bonus features. It's got commentary. It's got a featurette, auditions, behind-the-scenes stills and footage, deleted scenes, music video, production stills, Fright Vision 2000 reunion, so an early convention, I'm guessing, video storyboards, and the trailer. Yeah, this is a pretty gory, awesome zombie effects movie. It's pretty low budget, too, so it's impressive to see what they were able to do. So if you haven't seen The Dead Next Door and you like zombie movies, snag that one for sure. Then we have these two Italian classics by Dario Argento, Demons 1 and Demons 2. Now, again, I haven't seen these in a long time. I remember Demons 1 a little bit more because I remember they were in the movie theater, but I could not tell you the second one. It's a high-rise apartment. So, yeah. So it's basically more of the same, but in a building. I need to rewatch these because I do remember loving these movies, and they're kind of in tune with like Night of the Demons, obviously because there's the word demon, Evil Dead, but they're like just crazy freaking movies. And speaking of Evil Dead 2, we have the Evil Dead 2 Anchor Bay release with this interesting artwork. I prefer the classic skull one, myself. But this has featurette, The Gore the Merrier, Evil Dead Hail to the King video game preview. It's got some cool bonus features. And then it also has the little mini poster thing. I really do like when they have these releases that do this. And you also got Henrietta in there. That's pretty funny. Next, we have Clint Howard's Evil Speak. This movie is insane. And if you love Clint Howard and you haven't seen if you love Clint Howard and you haven't seen Clint Howard in Evil Speak, you can't say you love Clint Howard. Um, that movie is just batshit insane. It's like a military school, and there's like religious stuff, and there's dogs, and there's a sword, and decapitations, and it's nuts, but it's a lot of fun nuts. And there's like a devil in the computer, I guess. Yeah. Then we have one of the later releases. Again, I'm not going to mention every time it's a different one, but you get it. They're all Anchor Bay. This is Frozen by Adam Green, one of his first films he did before Hatchet. I rewatched this again last year, and I gotta say, it still holds up. It's still just as frightening. Imagine being stuck on like one of those ski lifts, and the things they try to do to get off of it. It's fucked. Speaking of fucked, next we have The Girl Next Door, and I'm not talking about the comedy. I'm talking about this one. Yikes. So far, I think this is the most extreme one that we've covered or talked about that Anchor Bay's released. This is definitely one that, it's inspired by true events. It's not completely 100%, but it's still rough. So if you like true crime stuff or things like that, you definitely should give that a watch. Last but not least, we'll end it with, it's one movie, but I have three technically, releases of it. We've covered this before on the channel, so I won't be talking about it too long. But we have the limited edition version of Halloween with the lenticular cover. For some reason, it doesn't say how many were produced, but it says this is 23,919 out of what? I don't know. But this has the Halloween. It has the television version included. As a second disc, and I love that they use the mask for the second disc. But then Anchor Bay also released a standalone version of the TV cut, which they just call the extended edition, featuring 12 minutes of extra footage shot for television. And this is one that has not been released a lot at all. I think this one also does the little mini poster. So, again, I think that's cool that they have the chapter select, but if you're like, I don't need that, you got a little mini poster you can put on your wall. And they're, cardboard, so they're a little more sturdy than your standard paper poster. The artwork's pretty standard, but it's pretty good. Then we have the 25th anniversary DiviMax edition of Halloween. Cover's a little hard to see, but, it's got that cool shot of Michael Myers kind of bathed in blue on the back. You get the feature presentation and the bonus materials on 2 separate discs. You get a booklet with it. It's got this gray case, which is kind of interesting. You'd think you would just get a standard black case, but I would have loved to see them do an orange case. Maybe if I can find one that has like a dual thing, I might switch it out. So let me know. Do you guys know of any DVD releases that come in an orange case like that? Because if so, I'd love to do that. I'd love to swap that out and make it a little more themed. And then we have the Halloween 25 Years of Terror documentary / it's got footage convention, it's got panel discussions, and it also comes with a little comic book for Halloween Autopsy. So that's kind of something interesting. Now, this is definitely that early 2000s artwork for comic books, especially horror ones. That was kind of like a little questionable on the quality. But there you have it. We have one stack down of Anchor Bay releases, and I still have 2 more to go through. Let me know in the comments. Are there any movies that I don't have so far, like from A to H, I guess, that you're like, why don't you have this release? Because I'm wondering why too. But yeah, stay tuned next week. We'll be going through more Anchor Bay stuff. Hopefully you'll like it, because I mean that's what we're doing. But we're not gonna do these back to back to back to back. So we'll take a break when we get to other like Magnet or Blue Underground or stuff like that, or Severin, Shriek Factory. Yeah, Shriek Factory. But we'll do those a different time. For now, we're just doing Anchor Bay. So stay tuned next week for part 2.